Attention, duelists. It is Monday once again, as it is every week, which means it's time for another watch and learn. Hopefully, with the new set having come out, we'll see some new stuff this watch and learn, and not a lot of repeats of the same auto decks, Numeron rolls, sword souls, and everything else that's just all we see. Alright, looks like we have a Dark Magician deck running Eye of Timaeus. And his opponent is playing some form of Invoked. To activate Magical Meltdown and summon Alistair the Invoker. Alistair is going to be countered with Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Snow Rabbit will destroy Alistair, but his effect will still go off, so he will get Invocation added to hand. Player will then activate Invocation, fusing the Ghost Ogre in the opponent's grave and the Alistair in their own. To make Invoked Mechaba. So at the end of the day, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit didn't really help much. Invoked is then going to activate its effect in the graveyard to return itself to the deck and take Alistair from the banished zone and put it back in the hand. Duels will then end their turn. Player draws return, draws a Soul Servant, activates Soul Servant. Quick play spell, place one card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard. That is Dark Magician or mentions Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, except Soul Servant. During your main phase, you can banish from your graveyard dark cards equal to the number of Palladium monsters, Dark Magician, and or Dark Magician Girl monsters with different names on the field and in the graveyards. They're going to set Dark Magic Circle on top of their deck, then activate the effect of Magician's Souls to send one level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from deck to the graveyard, which is going to be a Dark Magician. Their opponent is then going to counter that with Invoked Mechaba to negate the effect by discarding the same type, so negating Magician Soul's effect, but its cost went off, which is the really important part, which was getting a Dark Magician into the graveyard. So that will allow Mechaba to negate the effect of Magician Souls to summon itself, or send it to the graveyard to summon another Dark Magician. Player will then activate a second copy of Soul Servant, which is not limited to once per turn. That Soul Servant will also set another Dark Magic Circle on top of their deck. Mechaba will negate Magician Souls and banish it. Magician Souls will banish itself from the graveyard, allowing itself to draw one because there is one Dark Magician in the graveyard. Player will then activate Dark Magical Circle. Once activated, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then you reveal one that is Dark Magician or a spell trap that mentions Dark Magician, add it to your hand. Also place the remaining cards on top of your deck in any order. If Dark Magician is normal or special summon to your field, you can target one card your opponent controls, banish it. And they're going to add Eternal Soul. They will set the Eternal Soul, so now they have 2. And they pass turn. Opponent's main phase, they summon Alistair the Invoker, attempt to use his effect. Opponent will chain Eternal Soul to it. Eternal Soul will summon their Dark Magician from the graveyard. Alistair will add another copy of Invocation to hand. Dark Magical Circle will respond to Dark Magician being summoning and banish Alistair. Opponent will then tribute his opponent's Dark Magician to summon Kumongoose, the Sticky Kaiju. Sticky String Kaiju. Mecha will then swing over Kumongoose, doing 100 points of damage. Then passes turn to the Dark Magician player. They set 1, use the effect of Eternal Soul again to bring back their Dark Magician that was tributed. This will set off Dark Magical Circle again, which will banish Mechaba. They will then activate Eye of Timaeus to turn Dark Magician into Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. They will then swing directly for 3,000. Let's look at his effects. Its name is Dark Magician while on the field or graveyard. Your opponent cannot target spells and traps you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So while this card is on the field, his back row is protected. Passes to the opponent's turn. They activate the effect of Danger Jackalope, which is going to pitch Danger Chupacabras. This is a Danger Invoked deck. Actually, haven't seen that before. Neat. Jackalope is going to summon itself because it was not chosen, and Chupacabra will allow him to draw 1 card. He'll then activate Dangerous Tsuchinoko. Invocation will be pitched, which will allow Tsuchinoko to be summoned. Invocation will then use its own effect to put itself back in the deck, add Alistair to hand. Alistair will be normal summoned to add Invocation to hand. This is a perfectly fair card, I assure you. That's sarcasm. Then Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos will be summoned using 3 different monsters. However, Blackluster Soldier will not be as strong as it could be, because it's summoned using a level 7 or higher monster's material. Your opponent can't target with card effects, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. But it still does have its other effects, which are all based around it destroying cards by battle. Player will then activate the effect of Eternal Soul to summon Dark Magician. This will set off Dark Magical Circle and will banish the Blackluster Super Soldier, or Soldier of Chaos. Player will then summon Orbital Hydrolander by having 5 or more monsters in the graveyard and no monsters in the graveyard with the same name. Once per turn, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard to destroy 1 card in the field. You must have at least 2 monsters in your graveyard and no monsters in your graveyard with the same name to activate and resolve this effect. He will get rid of Kumungus and Alistair. Sorry, he's going to Invocation to fuse Kumungus and Alistair into Invoked Magellanica. Magellanica will swing into Dark Magician the Dragon Knight and they will both crash. Orbital Hydrolander will use its effect to destroy Eternal Soul, which will kill Dark Magician. It is now the Dark Magician player's turn once again. They're going to activate their second copy of Eternal Soul, and their opponent is going to quick effect use Orbital Hydrolander's effect to destroy Dark Magical Circle. Eternal Soul will resolve, bringing back Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. Soul Servant will banish itself to add Piercing Dark to draw a card, which will be Piercing Darkness. Player then activates Harpy's Feather Duster to destroy his opponent's field spell. Piercing Darkness has the effect of, if you normal or special summon a non-token normal monster, you can draw 1 card. When attack is declared involving an opponent's monster and a monster you control is level 5 or higher normal monster, or is ritual summoned using a normal monster, or is fusion summoned or synchro summoned or XC summoned using a normal monster, you can make that monster you control gain an attack equal to the opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. However, because Dark Magician the Dragon Knight was brought back with Eternal Soul, it is not considered fusion summoned, so it does not gain the benefits of Piercing the Darkness. Both monsters crash, no one has a field anymore. Player draws for turn, uses Invocation again. Player will chain Eternal Soul. Brings back Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. Alistair is added back to hand. Alistair is summoned, adds Invocation. Player uses Invocation, using the Dark Magician in his opponent's graveyard with Alistair for Invoked Caliga. Caliga's effect is each player can only attempt to activate 1 monster effect per turn. Each player can only attack with 1 monster during each battle phase. Player will then activate Ice Dragon's Prison, which will target Danger Jackalope in the graveyard, summon it to their own field, then banish Jackalope and Caliga. Duelist A will draw Eye of Timaeus, will swing directly with Dragon Knight, and pass turn. Opponent draws. Activates the effect of Invocation once again, adding Alistair back to hand. This is a perfectly balanced card. Alistair is summoned, adds Invocation. I've said that every turn this player has had. Activates Invocation, fusing Alistair with Magellanica for Invoked Algeides. Algeides' effect is, if this card is special summoned or a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target 1 monster opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Invoked Algeides once per turn. Once per turn, you can banish 1 fusion monster from your graveyard. This card gains attack equal to that banished monster's attack until the end of your opponent's turn. They're going to use Algeides' effect to target Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, and then they activate Dark Hole. Eternal Soul makes every Dark Magician in your monster unaffected by your opponent's cards. Player either did not read this or is just griefing at this point, and they use Dark Hole to destroy their own board. Player draws for turn, goes right into battle phase, swings with Dragon Knight for game. Hey, Respawn Boy. Did they announce a new festival? I hadn't heard anything about it. I also wasn't looking. The Limit 1 Festival, which is upcoming event, which will start on the 16th. There can be only one. Limit 1 Festival for Master Duel will be held on June 16th to June 27th. Time zones applying. As the name suggests, you can only use one copy of every card in your main and extra deck. Forbidden, Dynamite the True Draco Fighter, good. Numeron Gate number 1, good. Crystal Hockey 5-Rex, Isolde, Predaplant Vert, Union Carrier, Fusion Destiny, Real Order, and Skill Drain. These are all good things to be banned from this festival. Couple loner decks. This is gonna take a little bit of extra thinking. Am I gonna run for that? Oh, it's actually using cards from the Verdant Wing set too. There's a Reptilian deck, there's an Agents deck, and there's Rockets. Neat, neat, neat. I'm gonna have to think about what I want to run for that. There's a Shard of Greed mate, and other rewards as such. That goes off on the 16th. Relinquished. I don't know what I'm gonna run. I'm gonna take a look at what I got. I could go potentially just for generic rank 4. That might be what I end up doing. Yeah, it's gonna be some thinking. Exciting though. Nice to see them mixing it up a bit and making a responsible ban list. Right. Players going to summon Alistair the Invoker and set Paleozoic Dinomycus. Yeah, limiting people searchers is... they're going to limit searchers, but that might mean they'll have a variety of other searchers. Because Reinforcing the Army is still at 1. Hero Lives. Hero decks might be a thing if people are smart enough to play heroes the way they're supposed to be played. And run them at 1-ofs. I would run heroes in this if I had more hero cards. Actually, if it's 1-ofs, I might have enough to do it. And that's also limiting the amount of fusion cards you have access to. Tricky, tricksy hobbitses. Alistair adds Invocation in the hand. Player passes turn. Opponent activates Numeron Wall to set Numeron Network. I've never run incantations. I kind of do want to, because there are ritual decks I want to run, like Demise and Ruin. But there were also other sets that I was more interested at the time, so that'll be something. I'm definitely not going to get enough gems in 3 days to be able to run that, unfortunately. Player activates Paleozoic Dinomycus, which is a good response to Numeron Network, and it will banish it. He will discard Paleozoic Tragedy, or Paleozoic Despian Tragedy, attempt to activate its effect. Opponent will call by the grave it. Interesting. Player activates Invocation. It will fuse Dark Honest with Dramaturge of Despia to make Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. Dramaturge of Despia will summon itself back from the graveyard. Masquerade and Alistair will be linked off into Vert and a You know, I was half excited to watch this guy play his deck until he got rid of Masquerade for DPE, like a fool. Opponent will activate Swift Scarecrow when he attacks to end the battle phase. Let's see. Dark Honest, everything does. Once per turn during the main phase, you can return this card to the hand, this face-up card to the hand. During damage step, when a dark monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Your opponent's monster loses attack equal to its own attack until the end of this turn. Not the worst card ever, but I think normal Honest is better. They ultimately result in the same thing, which is your opponent takes damage from a battle equal to your monster's attack, because Honest will boost its own your own monster by the opponent's monster's attack, so that it just splits the difference, whereas Honest drops it. I don't know. I'm just more used to normal Honest. The opponent will use Lava Golem's effect to summon itself by tributing opponent's monsters to tribute TPE and Dramaturge to get rid of those threats. Lava Golem will inflict damage. We'll turn Lava Golem into a dark monster, then use Super Polymerization to make Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Player will then activate Call by the Grave, targeting DPE. It shouldn't be too hard to make space for incantations. It was a smart play to get out of Lava Golem. Ultimately, I will say this player got themselves into that situation for giving up Masquerade. Because people think that they're dependent on DP, when they're really not. Masquerade's a good card. They draw another Super Polymerization, set it, swing directly with Venom Dragon. Pass turn. Venom Dragon is tributed for Gamma Seal. It would have also gotten Lava Golem, but I think it would have, by not going straight for Vert, they could have potentially gotten that out afterwards and then summoned DPE. And by going for DPE, which has the same attack points as Masquerade, and getting rid of Alistair in exchange for Vert, they actually lost out on 500 damage. And Masquerade, assuming, because they couldn't have known their opponent had Lava Golem, leaving Masquerade on the board would have done more damage also when their opponent starts activating effects. So by going for DPE, they gained nothing, lost damage. At least that's how I'm reading into it, which I admit, I read too far sometimes. Attack with Gamma Seal. Pass turn, opponent summons Gadarla, swings over Gamma Seal. The reason I think Gamma Seal is an SR is because of its lower attack point value. I run Gadarla because it was the easier card to get, but it does have higher stat points, so you are giving your opponent a... You're getting rid of an opponent's monster and giving them one that has a higher stat line, so it being more of a benefit to your opponent as opposed to Gamma Seal, which is the weakest kaiju for the tribute effect. Gamma Seal. Tribute this card, special summon if your opponent controls kaiju, can special card attack position. When your opponent activates a card or effect on the graveyard, you can remove 2 kaiju counters. Also, because kaiju counters only really help you if you're running Kyoto Waterfront, which... If your opponent's running Kyoto Waterfront, you're not going to give them your kaijus anyway, so Gamma Seal is most helpful to you. So that could be the reason why it is stronger. But ultimately, the amount of players who run Gamma Seal for removal versus people who run Gamma Seal for the sake of running kaijus is, I don't know, 99 to 1. Which is the same. People should run kaijus more. player normal summons player's going to use Destiny Hero Dash's effect to special summon Destiny Hero Dash's effect to special summon the drawn Despia Tragedy. Use Radiant's effect to summon itself because the opponent controls a kaiju. Then normal summon Ghost Bell on Haunted Mansion. Then they're going to synchro all three. Funny out for number 89. Diabolos. Let's run down Diabolos. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, look at your opponent's extra deck, banish one monster from it face down. At the end of the battle phase, that's a really good effect. At the end of the battle phase, if this card destroys a monster battle, you can turn one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it face down. If a card your opponent owns and possesses is banished face down while you control this card, you can banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck face down equal to their face down banished cards. This is a really good card just for screwing over your opponent's strategies. Player sinks off all his monsters into Trishula, Zero Dragon of the Ice Bearer. Its effect, when it's synchro summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards in your opponent controls. If the synchro summon card and its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon one Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Bearer from your extra deck or graveyard. Its step becomes 3,300, then have the attack of any face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Also negate their effects. He's going to use Zero Dragon to banish Godarla and opponent's face-down Harpy Feather Duster. Swing direct for game. Huh. And then Diabolos would also banish the same amount of cards face down too. That is messed up when you think about it for too long. An inspiring amount of messed up. Opponent activates Virtual World. Kowloon. Its effect, place one Virtual Gate card from your deck face up in your spell and trap zone. Then apply the following effects based on the number of Virtual Gates you control, which is not 2 or more, so no effect will result from that. They're going to set Virtual World Gate. Chuche. Target one face-up card on the field. Shuffle 2 of your banished virtual cards with different names from each other into the deck. Then destroy that card. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Target one virtual world monster you control. Increase its level or rank by 3 until the end of this turn. Player then activates the effect of Virtual World Mahime Lulu, targeting Virtual World Chuche, and sending Virtual World Gate Quinlong, which will allow him to summon Lulu and add Virtual World Jishe Gigi to their hand. They'll use the effect of Gigi, targeting Lulu, sending Virtual Gate Zhuanzhu to the graveyard to summon Gigi, and adding Virtual Gate Quinlong back to their, banishing Quinlong, and sending Jory Punk Madam Spider. Lulu and Gigi will be synced up into Stardust Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior on summon lets them draw a card, which will be Lao Lao. Virtual World Hime Nyan Nyan is sent to the graveyard along with to special summon Lao Lao. Virtual World GG is special summoned by the effect of itself. Where is... you can target one Virtual World card you control, send one Virtual World card of a different type from your deck to the graveyard. You summon this card in your phase. Nope, were you summoned by you? Defense position monster and it gets effects. Yes, there it is. You can send one Virtual World card of a different type from your deck to the graveyard. If you do special summon this card, then special summon a Virtual World monster from your graveyard in defense position with a different name but negate its effects. For the rest of the turn, you can only special summon level or rank 3 higher monsters, which is no problem for Virtual World. Mahime is special summoned by the effect of Nyan Nyan. He's going to sink into Ravenous Croco Dragon, Arceus. Arceus effect, gain 5 attack and defense for each card in your hand. You can use each effect to synchro summon, draw cards equal number of non-tuners used for its summon, which is 1. Boy, I'm gonna have to run this one back. The effective Virtual World Gate Juan Wu's effect activates, which is to banish yourself from the graveyard, target one virtual monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then summon one card from your hand to the graveyard. It's going to banish itself, targeting Virtual World GG. So GG is summoned back, and it's going to send Deskbot 001 to the graveyard. Stardust Charge Warrior is going to go to the graveyard, along with Virtual World Nanan to summon Virtual World QB Shen. QB Shen's effect is going to activate. So the graveyard banish 2 other monsters from your graveyard, different attributes, special summon this card. Nope, that was wrong. Yan's effect. Yeah, banishing 17 face down is a really good way to screw over your opponent, because cutting them off from a third of their deck, no matter what it could be, is huge. Ravenous Croco Dragon and Virtual World QB Shen are going to be linked or Xyz summoned into True King of All Calamities. Opponent sets 2 more back row. Virtual GG is added back to the hand from the graveyard, and they pass turn. True King of All Calamities is going to remove Shen and declare Dark. True King of All Calamities effect. You can attach 1 material from this card to declare 1 attribute. This turn, all face-up monsters on the field become that attribute. Also, your monsters in your opponent's possession, the attribute cannot activate their effects or attack. Monsters that True Draco and True King monsters in your hand would destroy their effects can be chosen from your opponent's field. Is Diabolos banned in the actual TCG? Yeah. VFD is not. Floodgates have their place, they absolutely do, because of how combo heavy the game has gotten. But I think they. Jeez, that's really unlimited, huh? That's a fun gimmick deck to run. Floodgates, they have their place. I think they are a bit too powerful in a broad sense. Because floodgates are supposed to stop things from happening, which they do, but if they do it too well, then anyone can run it, and what's the response? Like with Mystic Mine. The response is, no one has fun, the game takes forever. Player activates Harvey's Feather Duster, wipes out his opponent's back row, and summons Elemental Hero Solid Soldier. Mystic Combine is not the worst because it is outed by back row removal. Players just don't think to add back row removal because of how combo heavy the game is. So Mystic Combine is as powerful as it is because I believe Mystic Combine is powerful because of players having stagnant deck building. Mahime is going to use her effect, sending Quinlong to summon itself and adding Virtual Gate Chuche to hand. Virtual Gate Quinlong is going to banish itself to add Lao Lao to hand. Lao Lao reveals itself, sends Mahime Lulu. Roshi Lao Lao uses effect, targeting GG. Yeah, the amount of negates that are possible to make, like, Baron de Fleur's effect is negate 1 card per turn. And you can also destroy things. Or you can negate 1 card once while this card is face up on the field, and then you can bounce it back and resummon it to use this effect again. But pretending you can't do that, its effect is, once per turn, destroy a card, and you can have 1 negation. And that is the only card that has any value from the set it came in, the, what was it, Duels Pack Synchro Storm? It was a recent thing. Nah, Speed Duel. Nope, that's wrong again. Where are you? Wasn't Grand Creators. Dimension Force, no. Was it Synchro Storm? Yep, looking at it right now. Synchro Storm, Legendary Duel Synchro Storm. Baron de Fleur is valued currently at $130 market value. The next highest card is valued at $30, and the next highest is at $5. Baron de Fleur's value is grossly inflated because it has a negation. Once, while in the field, face up. And yes, it does come with a bounce effect, so you can potentially resummon it, but that's insane. Herald of Perfection should not exist. Herald of Perfection is effective. Oh, your opponent does anything, discard a card to negate. You can summon this card along with a full board of other stuff and still have 4 cards in hand. Is such a problem. And I don't blame Herald of Perfection on it. I blame the Drytron cards on it. Herald of Perfection. Herald of Perfection. Send one fairy monster negate the after spell, trap, or monster's effect and destroy it. So that's Herald of Perfection. I think it's Herald of Ultimateness. Herald of Ultimateness. Ritual in this card must be ritual summoned during either player's turn. Your opponent would special summon a monster or activate a spell, trap card, or monster effect. Summon a fairy type monster from your hand to the graveyard. Negate the special summon or activation. And if you do destroy it, you can use the effect however many times you want. Herald of Ultimateness. Yeah, pure Drytron, perfectly okay. Pure Herald, absolutely okay. You mix them, no, too much. Because what should be cost to summon Herald of Ultimateness as being, was that a 12-star monster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Herald of Ultimateness is a level 13 monster, which should be difficult to summon with a ritual card. Unless you're playing Meteorus Drytron, which you can just use one Drytron monster to summon it. That is not the way the card was meant to be played. Yeah, the card Tenian Sword Soul is a whole nother problem, because I guess it's good that Tenyi cards are still able to be played. It is unfortunate the way that they're being played is to enable brainless garbage. That is not fun to play against. Herald of Ultimateness. Yep, level 12. I counted right the first time. Alright. Opponent activated Lao Lao, targeting Virtual Gigi. Effect resolution. Virtual Gate Zhuan Wu is sending itself to special summon Lao Lao. My Hime is summoned. Lao Lao and Gigi. For Vermilion Dragon Mech. It is wild to think, hey Sigma, this game's over. Opponent switches all monsters to attack mode. Oh, only if it passes on the monsters do extra damage. Yeah, I think it's good that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is as archetype focused as it is. However, without them specifically listing cards from that archetype, it does enable things to go nutty. Like, there are cards from archetypes that are like, alright, if you summon this card, you can only summon from this archetype from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. It's archetype focused in that everything now has an archetype. It's not archetype focused enough in that a lot of cards have general effects like, yes, this does fit the qualifications of the archetype, but it also fits a lot of qualifications of everything else. Like Sword Soul, I think even say like, use a Sword Soul monster or a Worm monster. And worms, I have my own problem with worms. They shouldn't exist. Just leave it dragon. Yes, that means dragon's too strong. It looks dumb. We're like, we invented a new dragon archetype, or new dragon type, but it's not dragons, we promise. They're worms. Ignore the fact that worm is basically dragon. Like, let's take for example this, hero cards. Each of them has like this, they're all really good for what they're doing, and each of them has the stipulation of hero. Vision Hero Vial, card normal summon, special summon, send one hero monster from deck to the graveyard. Shadow Mist, added one change quick play spell, like the Mastering Charge, add one hero monster. Elemental Hero Osneos, discard start, target one hero monster. Crystron Hockey Firex is such a problem, they refuse to do anything about Hockey Firex, and instead they just kill off tuners that could use it. Auroradon is not fun. Oh, you summon a monster? Here's 3 tokens. Do whatever you want with them. And it's the Link era, so 3 tokens goes a lot. Yeah, it's... Nothing about Hockey Fireback's Auroradon is good. Player Miracle Fusions using Shadow Mist and Solid Soldier into Sunrise that cannot attack due to Shrieking Vault Calamities. Opponent attacks them, they attempt to activate Honest Neos. The opponent will chain Virtual World Gate Chuche, returning 2 from the Banish to destroy Sunrise. Honest Neos has no target. They swing direct for game. Yeah, Synchro, far from my favorite type of summoning. They deserve better than being run out of the game by Helki Firex. Yeah, with the new ban lists, they're very clearly telling us, hey, we see the problem, and we're going to look like we're doing something about it. But we're not going to do anything about it because I guess if you want to run it from the perspective of their company that wants to make money, Helki Firex had, before Ghost from the Past, it was pretty high value card, so people would either buy the card directly or buy from that set to try to get Helki Firex. I was kind of hoping that with the reprint, it would have meant that they were doing something about it, and they might next ban list. But right now, because it was just printed, they don't want to ban a card that was dry for people to buy Ghost from the Past Second Haunting. Which is unfortunate and makes sense. Yeah, 5D's era, perfectly cool. Love them. They had unique things, and everything was like, alright, cool. I'm going to Synchro Summon Big Dragon. Yeah, it's kind of the curse of all good summoning styles is that they bleed into other things, and certain things like the cool thing I liked about the 5D's era was like, alright, cool, here's this big boss synchro monster that requires specific things to summon. I think them getting more specific with cards, like we've been saying before about things being too generic, like getting specific, saying like, all right, you want to synchro summon this boss monster, cool, it requires this specific like tuner, like they used to be with like Formula Synchron, how that was required for a bunch of stuff, or even Junk Synchron, it being using all the junk monsters, something that forces you to play these specific cards versus the generic stuff, like how the adventure engine is just, all right, cool, here's something that's really annoying to play against, and every deck is going to run it, and we say it's the engine, but like, you're not playing an archetype, you're playing this engine. Appaloosa I have problems with because she's a stronger version of Light and Darkness Dragon, which was a card I really liked before, and I missed that guy. Access code is just so much one-turn removal. Zeus is another card that I have issues with. Shrieking of all calamities. Number 97 going into the other dragon. That's true. My problem with Zeus, I guess, sort of stems from... I wouldn't call it a problem with Zeus, just sort of a gripe or a grievance. One of those things you nail to the front door of the church. Zeus has the name of like Divine Arsenal, AA, Sky Thunder, Zeus. And with all those different buzzwords thrown in there, I was really hoping that they were going to have a whole Greek gods thing of them being giant mechs, Xyz monsters, that could be summoned using the mechanic of, if an Xyz monster already battled, summon on top of this. But I think the problem with that now is, because of how good Zeus is, they would want to try to make any others match his power level, which is really hard to do, and keep the game fair and balanced, quote-unquote fair and balanced. Because, like, oh, how do you make a bunch of other cards to match Zeus? Well, I don't want someone to have access to Zeus and 3 other Xyz monsters that can also be used the same way to get super powerful results out like that. I think the best thing that could happen for cubic cards is if they make a Dark Side of Dimensions 2 and they give them more support. Alright, this guy's playing Eldritch. That'll be fun to watch. Activate Pot of Extravagance, banish 6, draws 2, activates Cursed Eldland. Cursed Eldland. Pay 100 life points, add 1 Eldritch or Golden Land spell trap from deck to hand. Discard the spell trap zone sent to the graveyard. You can send 1 Eldritch monster or Golden Land spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. Eldland will add Guardian Golden Land to hand. Player sets 4 back row, passes turn. Opponent activates Sacred Waters in the Sky, which will chain into an Ash Blossom. Sacred Waters in the Sky is negated, goes to grave. Player summons Agent of Mystery Earth. Uses Earth to add Neptune to hand. Goes into battle phase. Attempts to swing for 1,000. Opponent activates Scarlet Sanguine. Summons an Eldritch from the deck. Main phase 2, Agent of Mystery Earth will be linked up into Salamangreat Almirage. Then player will activate the effect of Agent Neptune, discarding itself to re-summon Agent of Mystery Earth. Opponent will activate Torrential Tribute. Salamangreat Almirage will tribute itself in response to this. Majesty Hyperion will be special summoned. And it'll be special summoned by banishing Agent of Mystery Earth from the graveyard. Then Majesty Hyperion will banish the Agent of Neptune Life, targeting Eldritch the Golden Lord in the opponent's graveyard, and banishing that. Player's going to activate Cursed Eldland to add Golden Land forever. Activate the effect of Golden Lord, targeting Majesty Hyperion, sending it to the graveyard along with Golden Lord. Then it's going to send away Cursed Eldland to activate Eldritch's effect, chaining into a Scarlet Sanguine. Scarlet Sanguine will set Conquistador of the Golden Land, and Eldritch the Golden Lord will add itself back to hand and then summon itself with boosted stats. Cursed Eldland's effect will activate in the graveyard, sending an Eldritch Golden Lord to the graveyard. Battle phase, player swims with Eldritch Golden Lord for 3,500. Sets Gold Land forever, passes turn. Player activates Sanctuary in the Sky. Player will chain Conquistador of the Golden Land. Because Eldritch is face up on the field, Conquistador gets both of its effects, summoning itself as a trap monster and destroying 1 card on the opponent's side of the field. Player activates Agent of Life Neptune, discarding itself to summon back Majesty Hyperion. Then we'll summon Ava, sending both off to link summon Protector of the Agents, Moon. Ava's effect will activate, banishing Neptune, which will chain into Protect of the Agents, Moon's effect. Moon will add an Agent of Mystery Earth to their hand. Ava will add a Diviner of the Herald to hand. Moon will send itself away to get rid of Golden Land forever, the opponent's back row. Majesty Hyperion will special summon itself back. Player activates Guardian of the Golden Land, which will reduce Majesty Hyperion's attack to 0. Player then activates Infinite Impermanence to negate the activation, or I guess the resolution of Majesty Hyperion's effect. This will also have the unintended effect, I assume, of turning Guardian of the Golden Land back into a trap card because it was set in the same zone as it. Interesting. Infinite Impermanence, when activated, negates the effects of all spells and traps in its column, which negates the effect of Guardian of the Golden Land being a trap monster. Yeah. Gonna pause that match real quick so I can break down your assessment of how to make Cubic cards stronger. So let's look at Cubic Wave first. Make Cubic Wave a quick play spell. What's Cubic Wave right now? Target one cube monster you control, one face monster your opponent controls. The attack of that monster you control becomes double its current attack, and if it does attack your opponent's monster, you control becomes half its current attack. You can banish this card in any number of cube monsters from your graveyard. Target face-up monsters your opponent controls equal to the number of those banished cube monsters. Place one cube counter on each of them. Yeah, that should be a quick play card. Doubling your own monster's attack and having your opponents. There are cards that do that. That should absolutely be a thing. That's pretty much like Honest, actually. So, that being quick play, totally fine, or circumstantially being able to be activated as a quick play card. Give the monster opponent, let's activate them and summon through proper conditions, so all the cube cards would get their attack, but the attack of the revived monster is halved. Yeah, that'd be fine too. I wonder if we could get them a card like Eternal Soul or Dark Magical Circle for Dark Magician cards, where it's like, here's one card, it has 3 different effects that are all super strong and helps everything you're gonna do. So something that lets you activate Cubic Wave as a quick play, something that lets Cubics be special summoned back and can be considered summoned properly. And give him a field spell. Yeah, I'd say a lot of this could be done from a field spell. Field spell, it just has a bunch of stuff fully loaded onto it, but a lot of those exist. So a field spell, let's say hypothetically, field spell, cube monsters that are special summoned are considered special summoned through their proper conditions, so they can have their attack, so they get all the benefits of being summoned, but their baseline attack is halved. That'd be perfectly fine. Also having the effect of just for the sake of we're making up a card, we'll call it Cubic Zone. It's a field spell for the cubic cards. Or if we want to make it really reference to Dark Side Dimensions, we'll call it like Realm of the Plana or something like that. But I guess Cubic does make it better for cubic cards, potentially searchable by cubic cards. So we'll say Cubic Zone. Field spell for cubics. General effect of if you control 2 or more cubic monsters, monster poke shows, like you said, with cubic counters, cannot be used for summons from the extra deck. That's perfectly fine, because there are other cards that also lock out the extra deck. Artifact Scythe, Nightmare Ibly, one of those ones, Buster Whelp, stuff like that. Cube monsters that have been special summoned back are considered summoned through proper conditions, but their baseline attack is halved. And not to just give them something for free, we'll say if you quick effect, you can discard a card from your hand, activate one cubic spell from your hand as a quick effect. Konami, hire me. Also pay me. Player uses the effect of Eldritch Golden Lord, add itself back to hand, summon itself with stronger stats. They swing over Majesty Hyperion, or attempt to swing over Majesty Hyperion, uses Sacred Rose from the sky. Both players take damage. Almost got a draw, actually. Alright, Cosmo. Player summons Cosmo Tin Can and sets Torrential Tribute. Uses Cosmo Tin Can's effect, paying 500 life points, revealing 3 Cosmo cards with different names from your deck. Your opponent picks 1 to add to hand, and the rest go to the graveyard. Reveals Cosmo Town, Cosmo Dark Destroyer, and Cosmo Dark Eclipser. Cosmo Dark Eclipser is added to hand. Destroyer and Cosmo Town go to graveyard. Opponent activates Junk Converter's effect to add Stardust, discarding Stardust Synchron and Junk Converter to add Junk Synchron. Junk Synchron is summoned, which brings back Junk Converter. Doppel Warrior's effect activates, and the opponent will chain Cosmo Tin Can's effect. Cosmo Tin Can's effect of banishing itself to special level 2 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. I said you're really weird there. And they're going to use Dark Lady. Double Warrior is special summoning itself because the monster was special summoned from your graveyard. Junk Converter is going to be attributed to activate the effect of Stardust Synchron. Cosmo Dark Lady's effect is going to chain after that to that. During either player's turn, when another monster effect is activated, pay 1,000 life points, negate the activation, and destroy that monster. Which is going to destroy Stardust Synchron. Players then activate Stardust Trail, special summon itself. It's probably an engine for busted Synchrons, because a lot of the cards he's playing are the ones from the Fusion Festival. Oh my god, Cosmo Dark Lady's effect... No, it is a once per turn, so it's using the other effect. Banish this card, special summon 1 or 6-star Cosmo monster from your hand. You can only use this effect for cards once per turn. She's going to banish herself to summon Dark Eclipser. Player's power tool targets and activates effect. Dark Eclipser cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects. During either player's turn, when a trap is activated, banish the Cosmo from the graveyard, negate the effect, and destroy it. If the card is destroyed by battle or card effect is not the graveyard, banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 level 8 or lower Cosmo monster from your deck to your hand. Player reveals 3 living fossils, adds a living, activates it, brings back Junk Synchron. Player activates Torrential Tribute. Wipes the board. Dark Eclipser's effect will then activate, banishing itself to add another Dark Lady to hand. That's really... Cosmo Dark Lady is a lot stronger than I thought she was, huh? I kind of was interested in making a Cosmo deck just because I know the artist. Because Konami is terrible at crediting artists, which is another big gripe I have with them, but I don't know if you're actually allowed to say who the artist is in case that breaks any more contracts, but if you know who the artist, so I don't want to out them and potentially risk them losing whatever contract they had or whatever payment they got. But yeah, after seeing some stuff and hearing people say, yeah, this is so-and-so was the artist for this archetype, and looking back at their... not gallery, but just stuff they've uploaded. Yeah, that was who this artist is. So that makes me more interested in running them. Cosmo Dark Planet is drawn, and they summon Cosmo Good Witch. During either player's turn, you can banish this card, special one level 5 or higher Cosmo monster from your hand. Once per turn, you can pay 500 life points. Target one face monster your opponent controls, change it to face down defense mode. So Book of Moon, good effect. They swing with Good Witch, activate her effect, banishing herself to summon Cosmo Dark Lady. Swing with her because that's a quick effect. Pass turn. Opponent summons Necro Synchron, activates the effect of Stardust Synchron, attributing Necro Synchron to summon Stardust. They attempt to activate Stardust effect, which is going to chain the Cosmo Dark Lady to negate it by paying 1,000. Galaxy Eyes is good. Player draws Emergency Teleport, activates it to summon Cosmo Farm Girl. Swings the Farm Girl, activates her effect to pay 500 life points to add Cosmo Forerunner. Then use the effect of Farm Girl to banish herself to summon Forerunner. Swings for game. Yeah, the way they prescribe the value to cards in this game is a problem. Just making it so difficult to fill out an extra deck. Just based on, is the card decent? There are a couple of other ones. Yeah, that's a work in progress. Danger's a work in progress. Exo. Yeah, like this is the extra deck I'm running, the Exo Magistus deck, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ultra rares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super rares. It's not great. Like Tornado Dragon is just MST, but it's given ultra rare status. Let's see what else is there. Number 70 is only normal rarity and isn't the worst. Once per turn, target one face of monster your opponent controls, banish it. That's not terrible. Let's see, what else did I have that was good ones? Number 45 and Phantom Knight of Cursed Javelin. They have the same basic effect of targeting opponent's monster and negating its effect. They're normal and rare, but they are rank 2s. Witch's Strike, normal trap card. If your opponent negates the normal or special summon a monster or the activation of a card, destroy all cards your opponent controls and in their hand. Jesus! God. That'd be a really funny card. That is a really funny card. That's really good. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't want me to have a turn? Well, now no one gets a turn. Now no one's happy. I'd say the only real downside to Witch's Strike is it's a trap card, so you would have to activate it on either you're summoning on your opponent's first turn, which is a little tricky to do, or it's your second turn. I haven't even filled out this extra deck. Geonator Transerver is a good choice for an extra deck depending on where you're placing stuff, because it lets you swap the control of monsters you and your opponent have, which if they place something in the middle or in their farthest to the right spot, you could swap them, which a lot of people aren't prepared for. Did I have any in birds? No, birds is also a really pricey extra deck. Nothing below super. I'm not even gonna pretend to look at Branded Despia and find something new. Yeah, like you were saying about the extra deck. Huh. Yeah, I guess that does work. Set at turn 1, your opponent activates a search. You use Ash Blossom, they called by the grave. You activate Witch's Strike. Money. Oh, Harbinger, really good. Ultra rare. Number 60, super rare. Number 68, super rare. Abyss Dweller. Number 100, Nightmare Unicorn. All of them pricey. Pulling it off has to feel awesome. Another pricey extra deck. Because rockets. King Dragon Dark Rebellion. Supreme King Dark Dragon Rebellion. Rank 4, reduce opponent's attack to 0, and you gain attack equal to the reduced attack. That's a nice extra deck monster. Alright. Alright. Player has Tongyo. Opponent activates Tri-Brigade Cross. He's doing the Tri-Brigade thing. There's Shirag. Makes Farragut. Gets Ancient Warriors. He's going nuts.
Are we still here? Oh my god, it's just to suffer.
Bahamut Shark, totally awesome. Another Ancient Warriors.
Sponsor time. This video is brought to you by supporters.
Skip ahead of that.
3D comes true. I 10k sub.
That was half the video.
Negate! What the f was that?
お前はもう死んでいる。
Negates the normal or special summon of a monster or the activation of a card or effect. Destroy all cards your opponent controls and in their hand.
Bye, have a great time. What the f? Good job, team. Hey yo, what the fight? You just got
That's very funny. That's a very good card. I'm gonna check out the guy's channel later. I'm also gonna have to put Witch's Strike into some stuff. Much to think about. Now I'll peruse this channel on my own time, because unfortunately, the stream for this Watch and Learn has hit the 1 hour mark, which means I'm satisfied ending it. But I'm absolutely going to play more of this game in the more Yu-Gi-Oh! In the near future, because I haven't had a chance to take my Exo Sisters into actual matches yet. But that's a video for another day. And this is the end of the video. So, yeah, sorry, man. I got other stuff I gotta do tonight, too. Take it easy, bud. And to all of you out there watching, if you caught the stream, thanks for watching. If you're watching the replay, thanks for that, too. Goodbye.